Hello and welcome to episode 66 of the Babbles Travelling Yarns podcast. I think that's right. Yay! It is Sunday, the 27th or 8th of April. It's a beautiful, stunning day outside. I went for the first swim of the year. I actually got into the water. April. The water was about 12 degrees. We went into the River Shannon. It was glorious. It was so nice. And I managed to swim all the way across the river and back. So that's like my proper first swim. So now I feel like super springy and summery. I feel amazing. Cold still to my soul, but still pretty good. So yeah, I've got a giveaway to talk about. Yay! Let's do that first off. So this is the giveaway for these two beautiful skeins by Donegal Studio Donegal. Studio Donegal, these two skeins, this gorgeous pink, heathery pink, and this delicious kind of grey, but it's got all these other kind of tan colours, blacks and whites, proper tweed. It's beautiful. So it's going to be, it's the same company. It's Aran Weight, figured out since talking about it the last time. It's Aran Weight, and I have knit a hat in it recently, which I'm going to show you in a while. I'm going to talk about my finished object. So there were 65 people that entered. That's actually the most people that have ever entered one of my giveaways, so yay. I'm just going to go on to random number generator now and find the winner. So random number generator, minimum 2 because my post was the first, and then 66 because it was 66 voices in total. Generate number 39. 39, is that right? I think so. 39. 39. Oh, it is Shirley Knits 123, and she said, I was talking about if are you going to Woollinn and what your favorite yarny things would like to do. I would like a month vacation. I would like to go to the Babbles retreat, to visit my friend Angela, to visit the countryside and appease my artistic side, and take lots of photographs for future paintings. That sounds wonderful. Shirley, you've got to come to the next retreat. So that is Shirley. She is in Virginia. And yes, so that's wonderful. So Shirley, get in contact with me, Shirley Knits 123, and I will post these out to you as soon as I can. Hooray! So that's the winner. So that was the organisers behind Woollinn in Dublin sent me those beautiful skeins to give away on the podcast. Now that leads me into something really special that happened last weekend, which was Babbles Retreats. So Babbles Retreat was spectacular. It went so well. I can't believe how well it went. There were a few little things that I didn't anticipate that happened on the day, which were all really small things, but things that I know now, like allowing time for lunch in the middle of the marketplace in between the talk. I mean, that's fine. That's all pretty reasonable stuff. So nothing tragic and horrific happened. Wonderful. So we had 12 people in total. I managed to, including myself, I managed to sneak in and sleep with a friend of mine in a double bed, which was really nice. So we had some wonderful people from as far as Detroit. Corinne Hawari Bazaar was there. She came all the way over. She's in Cornwall at the moment. She's making a trip out of it, so that was really special. And she sold some of her yarns at the marketplace, which was really lovely. And then who else was there from abroad? So we had two people that pulled out quite close to the date, so there was 2 spaces available. My friend, my now friend Bernadine actually picked up one of them, and then there was still one available, and it was just kind of not quite matching. But my friend Catherine from Atlantic Knitscape, who I'm going up to see to the Atlantic Knitscape retreat in 2 weeks, so she came down and surprised me. Like on the Friday, she said, "Oh yeah, I'm coming. I'm gonna drive down." I was like, "Yes!" So she came down and she had a bed for the Saturday night, and then she also said that Carl Carl the Fag, who works in California in a yarn shop, and he's also a pianist, but he's kind of a big Instagram knitter, male knitter. So he was traveling around Ireland at the time, and I was like, well, that's intriguing. So Catherine sent him a message, and then she sent me a message saying, oh, he's traveling, do you think he could come? I was like, I hope so. So I texted him on Instagram, and I didn't expect him to get back, and he totally showed up, and I was like, yes. So that was really special. He arrived, he was hiring a car, you see, so it's easy to drive around and travel in Ireland if you have a car. The public transport isn't brilliant, but if you have a car, the whole country is yours. So yeah, so he arrived as well on the Saturday, and then the others that were there were Bernie and Derek arrived down quite late at night on the Friday night. I'm so glad they came. They came all the way from Belfast. That was, oh, there was so much crack, it was brilliant. And then crack equals fun for anyone who is not Irish and who is thinking that it was a massive drug-filled fest. No. Laura from the Woolly Wolverine podcast came, so that was really lovely as well, and she's always so nice. And then we had some people from England. We had Aisha who came over. Then we had, oh, Julia, who came from Germany. All these people came from so far to my little retreat. It was so... So let me tell you the rundown. So I arrived on the Friday to set everything up. I met Ruth, who is the manager at Ballyglass Country House. If you are traveling around Ireland and you fancy somewhere in the country, quiet, very Irish, I totally recommend this place. It is an old country estate house. It was built by an Irish family. She has the whole history. She's so full of stories. The whole weekend was full of her hilarious stories about her and her family. If you have ever seen the British TV show Fawlty Towers, just put an Irish accent on it, like mix Father Ted and Fawlty Towers together with amazing food, really nice weather, although that was a freak accident, amazing pub situation with live music both nights, then you pretty much have the Babbles retreat with added yarn, knitting, weaving, spinning on top of it. It was perfect. I'm already planning the next one. Save the date, October, the bank holiday weekend in October. I think it's 25th, 26th and 27th. We're thinking, myself and Ruth were like, one full day is just not enough. I think you're right. I think you're right, Ruth. So anyway, sorry, I'm jumping ahead. So we arrived on the Friday, and people started, so one of the women had arrived early, so she came down. I set up the lounge area which we had. It was so cozy and comfy, really nice kind of broken in cozy couches, and Ruth just had tea and coffee like on tap the whole weekend. It was perfect. And then so Aisha was there, and then we also, so people kind of kept arriving in dribs and drabs. I knew some people were coming in and they were getting lifts from each other. Corinne was being picked up by Bernadine. Everything was kind of like coming together, and I really didn't have to go and collect anyone. Nobody got lost. The trains, there was someone came in on every train. It seemed like there's trains every hour to Limerick Junction, which was perfect. So we did manage the taxis from Limerick Junction to Ballyglass. It was always one man, and it was Paddy Redican. And we were piecing together. Everyone that arrived had new stories that he had told them the whole way. He was flabbergasted and mystified about what was happening in these mountains in the Galties and Tipperary. He was like, knitting though. I really appreciate those people who did actually understand him, and because, you know, the Tipperary accent is fairly amazing. But yeah, he was a real perfect kind of introduction to proper Tipperary Ireland. So they got dropped off, and we were sitting outside in the beautiful sun on the decking just in front of the pub, and lots of people were joining and bringing all their stuff. And then we had lunch outside, which was just beautiful, really simple, good food. Then that night, we all had dinner in the pub. We ordered dinner and then we had it in the pub, and then my uncle and his family came and were playing us music, and my uncle said he only had about an hour's worth of, you know, kind of repertoire, and then like they arrived at about 9, and Bernie and Derek just arrived at the same time, so thank God they got the call as well. And then they didn't leave until like 12:30, so, and they were playing music a lot of the time, you know. The thing about an Irish pub is that often you'll get people who have like a song or two that they can sing. So it often like pulls in people and everybody takes part. So it's not just the person on stage, except they were just by the fire kind of playing. So it was wonderful. It was really nice. And I want to say thank you so much to Tomas and all of his children, who are fabulously talented and make me feel this small with talent. They're so gifted. So the next morning then we had breakfast, who was cooked by 82-year-old mother, Ruth's mother. Really beautiful breakfast. And then we kind of chilled out for a few hours. The weather was still stunning, and the weather was supposed to turn on Sunday a little bit. So we said we would all get in the car and drive up to the Christ the King monument. And this monument has the most beautiful view over the Galtee Mountains. It is absolutely beautiful. So we popped up there, and got a photo shoot, and we got lovely pictures, and it was just awe-inspiring, really. It always is. I've always been dragged up those mountains by my father, and they're just stunning. So I had to bring them to see. And then we came back down, and we were waiting for a few people to come for the marketplace, and I set up the marketplace. Marketplace was about 12. It opened at about 1, just with extra time and things like that. So I'll just do a quick photo shoot before it gets destroyed now.
Wow. Oh, I already see something.
Thank you so much.
Just made a few bites, so shouldn't go
The petting.
Sorry, does anyone know what the lunch menu is?
Oh, I'll get the lunch menu for you now. This was a huge success. It was beautiful. We had 7 vendors in all. We had Your Wool, who's Margarita from Cork. She brought her beautiful dyed yarn, lots of tonals, beautiful bases. The way she dyed them, they looked like silk. It was really beautiful stuff. Really recommend going over and having a look at her shop. It's fantastic. Everyone bought something from her, I think. And then next up on the table was Bernie and Derek, Bear and Sheep's Clothing. So their yarn is so beautiful. All British UK milled yarn. She has this stunning Wensleydale base, which she's knitting something out of. I think she's knitting one of the tops in Pom Pom. Oh, it was like spring 2017, I think. I think so. It's beautiful, really lacy. But this Wensleydale base just has such a drape, but it also has the woolliness. It's just beautiful, and the color just sits on it so lovely. It's really lovely. She has this gorgeous orange, which I keep dreaming about. I'm like, I should have got it. But yeah, so she's also going to be at Woollinn, actually, Bernie. We're going to be beside each other. We're going to be both buddies. So we'll be sending you across to each other. So then it was my yarn. I brought some yarn up. I brought some of my DK base and my cotton socks base. and some of my oak, my one-of-a-kinds, some one-of-a-kinds as well, which was really nice. Then we had Deerman from S-Twist with his wool, and he had a pattern and a kit by LB Handknits, a beautiful hat called Latiche, and actually she's got a beautiful jumper in it as well. It's like a fake faux cable, really beautiful. So there was a kit, and I actually bought some. Oh, hang on, we're getting into territory. I better go get the yarn that I bought. Now, sorry, excuse me. So this is the, oh brilliant, I have it. So we'll get on to the talk that Deerman gave us in a minute, but I just want to talk a little bit about this skein. So this is his new range. Sorry. Oh, that's some of Margarita's wool. We were winding it as well. So this is Galway fleece. Now the Galway sheep breed is apparently the only native sheep breed that can be traced back a couple of thousand of years. So everything else has kind of been brought in from Scotland or other parts of the UK, but the Galway fleece originated allegedly from sheep that were brought to Ireland a long time ago, like a long time ago. They actually they've adapted to the Irish weather, and this is just the bounciest, fluffiest fleece. It's like it's actually soft. Like, so he has other types which are mixed mountain fleece, which is kind of like not as soft. It's kind of all the breeds that are mixed in together from the mountains, from Tipperary Mountains, from the Roscommon Mountains, from Mayo, from all over Ireland. They're kind of mixed in together. But he's starting to go towards single breed yarns, which is really interesting. He's got some Jacob yarn. I think I have some of his Jacob yarn by what he was saying. The greys, I think it's Jacob. I think it's a mixed Jacob, and it's very prickly. I shouldn't say that word, but it's, you know, woolly. But this, the Galway, is just beautiful. So and he's also starting to naturally dye. So he's really interested in naturally dyeing yarns as well. And this, I think, is cochineal, which is an insect. So this is origin Mayo, Ireland. Iron weight 150 meters per 100 grams. So I'm going to make this beautiful hat by LB Handknits. It's a one-woman cottage industry in Donegal. So this is the hat that I'm going to make with it. It's gonna be beautiful! So it's made specifically for S-Twist wool. Absolutely gorgeous. I love it, isn't it gorgeous? Really lovely. So that's what I got from S-Twist. I also was lucky enough to get Kate from Hawthorne Cottage Craft to send down some of her bags for me, and I got one that I was looking at last year. It's beautiful. So this is Kate, Hawthorne Cottage Craft, who I'm going to meet at the first, her bags are going to be available at the Atlantic Knitscape retreat as well. Well, let me just pull you in, you're a little far away. So it's this beautiful nautical bag, and oh, it's just beautiful. Derek had the same bag. I was like, twins. And then, oh, I also bought some mixed mountain fleece from Tipperary in this gorgeous fade. So I love it. I'm thinking some sort of colorwork yoke. Oh, are you thinking it as well? It's so pretty. Sock weight, same as all the rest of the ones that I have at the moment. So that's so nice. I had to buy, I love his stuff. I love his stuff. And then going around the table, then we had Corinne, and Corinne, like, it's really difficult for us to get our hands on American yarns in Europe, in Ireland, because we've got to pay so much import duty on them. So I had to get some when she came over, and she had this gorgeous self-striping skein, and just the blues and the greys on this. So this is Hawaii Bazaar, and this is Saltburn self-striping fingering weight, superwash merino, 464 yards per 100 grams. Oh, it's so beautiful. So socks. Hurrah! So that is all that I got, but one of the best sellers was actually a really good friend of mine, Terry, my cottage number 9. I've been screaming about her bags for ages. Love them. So she really knocked it out of the park. Absolutely amazing. I think almost everyone bought something from Terry. It was so beautiful. She's such a fantastic, I'm actually kicking myself that I didn't buy. She's got this new type of bag, which you'll have to go over to her shop to see. It's really smart, and I am definitely getting one when she makes one. I'm definitely buying one because I didn't want to take away from other people getting it and sharing it. So beautiful. And the fabric she used, oh my god. Bernie from Bear and Sheep's Clothing got one of the bags, and Carl as well got one. Really nice. So yeah, hopefully you'll have seen a few little clips there as I was talking. It was really successful. It was a fantastic sale. People from, actually Pretty Funky Knitter and Siobhan Hackett came down as well from Dublin, and we had some people up from Cork. Margarita brought some people from Cork, and there was also some of my friends from Limerick, from my Limerick Knit Night, that came. So it really, like, it's probably about, it takes about 2.5 hours to drive from Dublin for the whole day. Helen and Siobhan stayed, they arrived at about 12, probably about 11 maybe, and they stayed until about 10 o'clock at night. It was like a really lovely day out for them, so I'm really glad they came. And then yeah, so I was just totting up all the details from the marketplace. Everyone went outside and had ice creams in the sunshine because it was still so sunny. And then they had their lunches out on the terrace, and Ruth actually brought me in some lunch because he was like, "You haven't eaten anything." I was like, "I'm sorry." And then we set up in the lounge area for a talk with Deerman. So Deerman is a really interesting guy. Deerman from S-Twist. He's a young guy. He's traveled all around the world. He's been to Brazil, he's been to Germany, and then he came back home, and he's always been interested in wool. So he started talking about how he trained as a weaver originally, and then he was trained by a weaver for this particular charity, which was all about teaching children with disabilities how to make something like craft-wise. And that's always been his aim, is to, like, he comes from this kind of, he calls himself this kind of hippy-dippy background, which I love. But he came back to Ireland, and he realised that no one was doing anything with Irish wool, which is really interesting for me. So he started hand spinning wool, like physically getting the wool from the farmers, taking it, hand spinning it and sending it on. But then obviously he couldn't make enough for demand. His body would, like, you know, it's very physical work, spinning, it is. And to do it as a job is quite difficult, and difficult to, you can't grow a business like that. You can only do however much you can. So he looked into doing it more commercially, but still keeping that hand-spun feel, that hand-spun kind of, yeah, feel to it. And he was just so interesting to talk to and answer questions, and we had like so many questions. He was like, "Oh, this is brilliant," because like these are people who are really interested, which is what I really wanted. It was a small group. It was about 30 people. Well, probably about 25 people there, but they were all really interested in why Ireland doesn't have the same small mill industry that the UK has. So the UK has lots of these small social enterprise kind of things, say like used woolen mills, or Iona, where they actually want to keep crofters, farmers working in the industry. They want to keep the heritage there. And we asked him that, and we were like, why don't we have it? And he was like, well, and I looked this up as well actually, when Ireland was under British rule, we have the same amount, we have more sheep probably than they do in the UK per head, definitely. We have the land for it. The land is fantastic for these sheep. and there's no reason why we would not have the same quality of wool. The issue apparently was that Irish wool, Irish mills, Irish weavers were producing quality that were actually higher than the UK at the time, and they didn't want the Irish market undercutting the English market. So there was actually a moratorium put on Irish weavers. The guild, the Irish Guild of Weavers, Spinners and Dyers actually was closed down by law. And unfortunately, what that meant was that all of the skills were lost through generations. Like, they were just lost. You couldn't make money at it. You couldn't sell it. I don't know if it was banned, but like there was like import taxes and things levied on Irish products, on Irish woolen products, which meant, of course, that it wasn't worth selling it, you know. It was to encourage people to buy English products and UK products rather than, even though we were part of the UK at the time, it was to encourage the home country to sell their yarn, or, you know, sell their product over Irish yarn. So that was in the 1850s, maybe before, I'm not quite sure exactly when, but it was in the 19th century. And ever since, the skills have just been lost because there's no money to be made in it. And unfortunately, you need to survive, you know. So there was, and then of course there was the independence, and these skills were still lost. So at the moment, what farmers do is they often ship it abroad. They pack it up in pallets and they send it to China. It's the only place they can get rid of it all, because there's no wool board in Ireland. We don't have a wool board because that was closed down as well. They actually had to bring in wool board. They actually had to bring in like shearing trainers from the wool board in the UK to train Irish shearers to like teach a class in it that Deerman had went to, because there are no official shearers here, you know, that have been trained. There's no like certification. Every farmer who owns sheep kind of tends to be a shearer or knows like somebody who kind of can do it, but there's no professionalism aspect to it, which just means that there's just no infrastructure in Ireland anymore to deal with all of the sheep and all of the wool. So the sheep that are being bred now are being bred for meat, because that's where the government actually pushed, that's where the government has actually decided to go in its direction, is for meat and for food products, not for wool. So they've just kind of they've kind of ignored the wool side and just focused on the food product side, which is so unfortunate. But it's the direction that they've gone. So it's kind of up to us. We're kind of on our own. There's no real support for people like me, who, if I won the lotto tomorrow, I would love to open a mill or something. Like I need a lot of money. Myself and Helen, we're like across the room with this conversation. We're just having a private conversation. We're like, we're not gonna win the lotto. We're gonna pay for this. We're gonna do it. This has to stop. Rah, rah. Anyway, it was the most interesting talk. I am so glad and delighted that Deerman came. It was spectacular listening to him talk and asking him questions, and all the questions that were burning in my mind after going over to Edinburgh and talking to all of these people who have these mills, and they're like the small mills and they're kept going. And you know, the way that they're kept, the reason they're kept going is because of government support. And there is no government support here in Ireland, and there hasn't been for about 100 years, 200, 300 years. My dates aren't perfect. If you're interested, then I advise you look it up with Google, because that's what I would be doing. So, but it was such an interesting talk. I'm really, really glad that I managed to convince him to come, because he's a tip man himself. So he kind of organized it to be like a family event, which was really nice of him. Thank you so much. So what was I'm going to talk a little bit about some Irish wool. And they say about 50% of it is Irish. They mix it up with merino and different things that come from abroad. So, Donegal Studios is, Studio Donegal, this yarn here, is milled up in Kilcar in Donegal. Is that right, Kilcar? I think it is Kilcar. Yes, 100 merino, yes, it's 100% merino wool spun by Donegal Yarns in Kilcar. Now, merino does not grow in Ireland. The soil is too good for them. Merino needs to be treated really badly. Needs to be like really dry, you know, terrible land, and the land is too good for them in Ireland. It's too wet. They would get foot rot. So this is not, you know, it is made in Donegal. They ship it in. They ship the merino in, and they do it, and which is why it's so soft. This is because it's soft. This is merino. But when it comes, it has this kind of it's a little bit tight. Well, tight is the wrong word. It doesn't seem like it's Aran weight. It seems like a DK. But then when you block it, it just fluffs up. It's so fluffy! So this is my Repeal hat. Repeal! It's a pussy hat out of my Irish yarn, which is made in Ireland, but merino, and some white that I had. I think it's actually New Zealand white, but Repeal. So this hat is made by, it was designed by Primrose Yarn Company. Why is that so difficult to say? Who is an Irish woman living in the UK. I was made aware of this hat by Untitled Chapter, who is a jewellery designer and knitter in the UK. She is also Irish. If you saw my last video, I can only say thank you so much for being so polite, supportive, kind, even if you didn't agree. I really, really, really appreciated it. I'm still getting messages on it 2 weeks later. So if you didn't see that last video, if you want to go back and watch it, it is about repealing the 8th Amendment in Ireland. The 8th Amendment is a law that was voted into our Constitution in 1983. It gives equal rights to the life of the mother and the life of an unborn fetus, which effectively bans, completely makes termination of a fetus or an abortion illegal in Ireland. There have been several amendments to that rule to allow people to travel to England and allow freedom of information if you ask the doctor. That used to be illegal too. But it is completely illegal on the island of Ireland to have a termination of a pregnancy for any reason whatsoever, including fetal abnormalities, including including an up to, well, there was a rule that passed in 2014 after a woman died, when they weren't sure if they could perform a termination to save a woman's life. That is now the only way that you can have an abortion, if your life is in serious and immediate danger, which can be, you know, whatever. So can I just read out some stats here from my video? I read out so much more in my previous video all about it, so I'm not going to talk any more about that, but I just want to talk about so the video had 2,606 views, a lot, that's a lot. 259 thumbs up, the most I've ever had, thank you. 10 thumbs down, which is not too bad, not bad at all. My subscriber numbers didn't drop a jot, they rose. I can't believe it. I literally can't believe it. I had 147 comments. I mean, that's actually including myself responding to some people, but over 100 comments. And everyone apart from 2 people, I think, agreed with me that this law needs to be repealed. I and the two people that did comment were super polite about it, and they were mentioning super personal tales to themselves, which is why they would decide they would want not to repeal the 8th. However, they weren't in Ireland, so so I had the patron only podcast from Bakery Bears is on in 29 minutes. I better wrap this up. Ooh, no. But I had so many people contact me saying thank you for talking, thank you for saying this, you know, they're really glad that I didn't say nothing, because so many people did not know about it. People don't know about the situation in Ireland. People think Ireland's a really modern country with modern ideas and blah blah blah. Yeah, it's super modern when it comes to money and living your life, but when you get pregnant or if there's anything to do with religion, it's not modern one bit. It is in some cases, but this particular case, no, it is the opposite of modern. So I have had a lot of people, because I mentioned in the last podcast, if you want to help out, you can donate. Now, I was wrong. You can't donate to the Together for Yes campaign if you are not an Irish citizen. And this is to prevent what was happening on the opposite side, where a lot of funding was coming in from outside sources to fund the No campaign. So they want everything to be above board and honest, and for Irish people, for Irish people. However, I still had loads of people who wanted to contribute, and there are loads of ways to do that. You can buy merch on that site. You can go and buy badges. There's a couple of really cute badges which I was given actually by Bernadine. I'll show you them actually, they're really cute. I think this was a different thing actually. This is from the abortion rights campaign, but it's the same. They're like, yay. And then this one is free, safe and legal. That's what they're aiming for. That's what we're aiming for. I should put it on the badges really. As eyes, yes. I'm sorry, that was really loud and a car went past. I'm gonna attach this to my head now. So so this is the cutest thing that's ever happened. Thank you so much, Bernadine. So you can buy merch, and that's one way to support. You can also, so I have had some people send me money via my PayPal, and thank you so much if you have. Now, I have donated a little bit of what I could to the Together for Yes campaign. What I also have been doing, because I don't really want to be like a middleman kind of sliding it in under, you know, I feel a little bit odd about that, but every penny that has come to me has gone towards getting a vote for yes. And let me tell you how. So there is a group on Facebook called Abroad for Yes. Now, Abroad for Yes is a page where people who live abroad who can still vote in Ireland are trying to get home to vote for Ireland. Now, you vote for yes. You cannot vote when you are abroad. There's no way you can send in a postal vote, and you can't do a proxy vote either. You must be in the country. You can do a postal vote if you're not going to be in your constituency on the day, but you're still in Ireland. Or I think you have to be you have to be on the register, and you have to be living in Ireland up until 18 months ago or something. If you left in the last 6 months, or if you left in the last year, you are still eligible to vote, but you have to be in the country to physically go in and do it. You can get a postal vote if you're a student, or you know, if you're not going to be there, but your Garda has to the Garda has to see you and sign it in front of you, and you've got to get either your work or your college to sign it to say that you're not going to be there. And if you're not unemployed, but if you're self-employed, you've got to go in front of a commissioner of the peace to get it signed. So it's really tricky, like it's really difficult if you're not going to be there. I am not going to be in my constituency during the vote because it's happening on the weekend of Woollinn. But I already have my postal vote sorted, so that's fine. But people abroad, say lots of students, lots of educated, traveled people are trying to get home, but the flights are so expensive. So this Facebook page combines people who want to contribute a little bit of money to the cause, and they set up GoFundMe pages, and like every single penny that has come to me has gone to one of these people who's coming home to vote for yes. So it's going to a vote. Thank you so much to everyone that has sent me any little bit of cash, because I'm then able to spread it around to who needs it. We've brought some back from Africa. Like I've only been giving like 20 euros or 10 euros a go, because I do want to spread it around to as many people as possible. And every little helps. Like 30 people brought a man home from Africa. There's someone coming from Toronto. We've got a lot of people coming home from Europe, because it's closer and the flights are cheaper. So people who live in New Zealand, or people who live in Australia or something like that, they actually contributed the bits that they've saved to people who are closer, because they were able to get more people home to vote. Because it's all about the vote. Vote, 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 vote. So that's where, so I've not been like directly putting the money in like as a mule, as a vote mule, because that's illegal, which I was informed of. Thank you very much for the person who informed me of that. But I have been trying to bring some people home, trying to get them home, because of our weird voting system where you can't vote if you're abroad. In case you ever want to come home to a country that will be kind and compassionate to you, you can't have a say unless you have the money to come home. Whatever. It's kind of another thing. It's a whole other thing. So I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone who has contacted me, either publicly as a comment or privately, to tell me their story. I really value what you've told me, and I'm totally honored that you chose to tell me your personal story about you know, not even just being a mother or having a miscarriage or having an abortion if you needed it. Thank you so much for your stories. Thank you so much for giving me hope, and just thank you. I really appreciate every single one of you. I really, really do. We're seeing so many more yes posters going up now. We've seen actually I've had a couple of pins sell in the last couple of days, and all of that profit has gone straight to the the Together for Yes campaign. So if you do want to support the Together for Yes campaign, I can sell things and then give the profits to Together for Yes. So that's a way you can do it, and you'll also get a pin if you haven't got one already. But yeah, everything in the last couple of days, all the profits that I've made from my pin sales have gone straight to the Together for Yes campaign. So, but I do have to limit that because I do need some for Woollinn as well. Yeah, so I'm just feeling, I love this. Little kitty cat, little kitty cat hair face. Kitty cat. So, goodness, what else can I talk about? I have been knitting a bit, but mostly I've been dyeing. You want to see the dyeing? There's a lot of it. So that's all the stuff that needs to be skeined. That's all skeined. Then there are all the different bases. And there's 3 other boxes of undyed wool that I need to dye. Oh my god, it's a lot. I need to dye 20 skeins per day. I haven't dyed any today. I've been tidying and arranging and sorting, because sometimes I'm afraid that I'll dye the same colour twice, you know? I'm a bit nervous about that. But anyway, yeah, you just have more. Sweater quantities, yay. So I just want to talk a bit about some two things that I have been knitting on. One of them was, oh, actually, I'll show you this one other one. This is in my Pleistre bag. This is the bag that comes in the Pleistre bag pack. Lovely little bag. I just love it. It's so soft. Pleistre is a Norwegian company. I bought the bag at Edinburgh last year. So I am knitting on the Ada by LB Handknits. This is part of my Woollinn wardrobe. Now, if anyone is coming to Woollinn, we're doing a Woollinn wardrobe hashtag, where if you make anything to wear at Woollinn, and it is by an Irish or a designer represented at Woollinn, you may be entered. You'll be entered to have a prize. Words. So this is my entry for Woollinn wardrobe. God, I hope I'm going to have it finished. But this is this lovely scoop neck top, fitted. Hopefully, I'm worried that I've made it too big. Anyway, we'll see. So making it out of two of beautiful Ninja Chicken sock blanks. Why is this? It's different on both. Oh my god, it's different on both sides. Look, there's a thingy on this side, and on this side it's not there. What? Oh, it's because it's wrapped around. Oh my god, that's amazing. So two of these are being knit together. I'm running out. So pretty. That's all I have left there. I have got this other one. I think I'm just going to have a short sleeve. I'm running down. I'm going down the body now, and I think I'm going to have to change soon. So I am currently this far. Isn't it beautiful when you look at it from far away? Oh, it's lovely. So you see the little bubbly nature of it? I actually really like that. It's got this like texture design in there. This is my little sleeve. It's a contiguous sleeve. Yeah, so I was looking at it there today. And I'm wearing a lot of other things underneath here now, sorry. So this, I'm sure I need to just try it on properly, I think. But if this little ridge here needs to sit along my shoulder, and then this is where my arm starts there. So it's, but I think it should start here and not there. I think I'm about an inch too much there. Oh, it'll be a drop sleeve, it's fine. But I'm not sure if I did the right size. Oh, nervous. I need to take it off that needle. It's a 100cm needle, and put it on a big needle and try it on properly, because you don't really know unless you actually try on the whole thing. Pulling on one sleeve isn't really good enough. But look at this little orangey bit. Oh, it's so nice. I love this. I love it. I love the scoop neck as well, but it's very, very, I need to try it on and see. I don't know, it's very big, very wide and open. No, I have big, strong back structures, so I think it's gonna be fine. If it's not right, I'll rip it out and do it again. That's fine. It's just, you know, the yarn is too lovely to not be wearing it. You know, not to wear it to just say, oh, it's fine. You know, I want it to be right. And I know that's not like me. I know it's not like me. But yeah, so this then is in my knitting goddess bag with my little pin. So this is the pin if you want to support Together for Yes if you'd like to. You can get that in my shop in Etsy. It's just down below. You don't have time to knit. I don't have time to listen to nonsense. I love it. So this is my St. Patrick's Day March socks, which I'm still on. So I went to see the Avengers film, and I hadn't knit with these for a long time because my elbow was sore. So I'd kind of just been casually working on the Ada for a while. And then I picked up these again because they were just past the mini heel flap and gusset there. I did a mini heel flap adjustment from Mina Phillips Patterns and her little garter stitch, poofy garter heel, short row heel. And so this is the March Holiday colorway by Yarn Over New York. They came in 2 little skeins. And you see, like, there's quite a big stripe there because it's kind of fading in there. Oh, it's fine. I don't really, yeah, it's fine. It kind of fades a little bit, you know, you've got a little bit of the bright here and a little bit of the dark down here. I think it's lovely, doesn't matter. But do you know what I'm loving? You see this kind of yellowy mustard up here, and then down here there's like this tealy blue. So nice and so soft. So soft. It's beautiful. So I'm just checking now if I see if I've got a ladder down there. No, I don't. Thank God. I saw like there's kind of a ridge, you know, but when you straighten it out, when it's going to be on my foot, you won't be able to see it. No, there's no ladder. That's fine. Perfect. So I'm knitting a 2 at a time magic loop, and yeah, perfect. It's going really well. So they're the 2 things that I'm knitting on. Nowhere near close to finishing anything. I'm not very fast. I probably knit about this much in the cinema, which was great. But I'm just really concentrating on dyeing at the moment. Yeah. So that's what I'm up to. That's what I've been doing with myself. Oh, I'm wearing the Drift by Kristen Finlay. I really want to make another one of these. It's just, oh, it's lovely. It's lovely, lovely, lovely. I'm half thinking about, I don't know. I'm half thinking about a lot of things. It's really hot to wear this, but I love it so much. But it's so cute. Oh, I did get my fingers. Maybe I'll just put it here. Repeal, repeal, everybody, please. Yeah. So that is 49 minutes. Hey, 49 minutes and no stops. I don't think I'm going to edit today. I can't be bothered. I'm kind of exhausted. I've been really, really tired actually. Obviously, because I've got a lot going on, and I'm also working a full-time job at the same time, so I don't know how I'm doing it. And I haven't had any lunch today. I think I'm going to have some vegan scrambled eggs on toast, which is kind of like tofu scramble. It's delicious. That's what I'm going to have. It's 2 o'clock. Goodness. And not a thing dyed. No, I think I have dyed 2 or 3 skeins or braids. So yeah, oh, let me talk a little bit about what's going to be at Woollinn. So, hey, do you want to see, we do a little rummage through the bins? Okay, if you insist. This is my singles base. It's called Floof because it's so floofy. It is so floofy. It's not exactly like one of those silky bases, you know, that you'd see sometimes. This is really fluffy and lovely. It is a non-superwash singles base, so I really would recommend doing a shawls in these. That'd be really nice. These are some of one-of-a-kinds that have come out, which is so lovely. I've also got a fade in here. So this is the first. I've got 2 kits of it. That's the first color. It's like, and then there's this one here, which has a little bit of a greeny yellow on one side. So it fades from this to this, and then it goes bluey greens, and then more blue, and more blue, and then deep down to a dark blue. It's lovely. Oh, I got some gold going on. It's a bit of a fade as well. And then I've got some acid in there. I've got this gorgeous magenta. Oh, this was an acid and gold combine. That's one of a kind. These are some beautiful blues down there. Some kind of naturals with speckles, creams with speckles of greens and oranges, and some more reds down there. So that's really fun. I can't wait to have them all skeined up so they look super pretty. That's a night in front of the telly's work. This is some Merino Sock. Ooh, I fell, sorry. So I've got some of this really nice red again in a single sock, which is more of a, so that one's quite tonal, and this one is quite, I don't know, this is kind of more consistent, but it still has little bits of light and dark. You know, it's hand dyed. This is August Sunset. This was like, I think it's like, I'm going to call it pistachio or something. It's quite nice, but or mint chocolate chip. Minty. That was a one of a kind. Some August Sunset. Some Bernie. I'm calling it Bernie. It reminds me of her so much. There's some ivy down here, fluoro ivy actually. Bit of fluoro ivy. So that's that. Then I haven't really gotten into my cottons yet. I'm going to do a huge load of neutral bases for the cottons, and I've also got this stunning ray, which is just beautiful. With Sunday as well. I'm going to do a batch of that. This is some of my DK, which we're going through at the moment. I love this red. Once I figured out the red, I was so happy about it. I want to make a chuck out of it. 15th time I've said that. I love this as well. I actually love this. So pretty. Oh, and also this one. I want names for some of these. If anyone has any, just look at that. It's just beautiful. If I do say so myself. Oh, there's some of the shawls that I have all packed up, ready to go. I have some gradient kits there for worsted weight or iron weight sweaters. What's through here now? Oh yes, all of my fibre. This is a full bag of undyed fibre. There's a lot. I've got in here. So let me go through and see what we've got. So over this side, we've got Scardale, which is this beautiful, soft, silky, gorgeous masterpiece of beautifulness. So we've got some gradients in there, and yeah, lots of gradients actually, pretty colors. Then we've got some kind of more muted tones in the Falkland. I think it's a merino. I think it's a Falkland merino, but it dyed differently to the Scardale. You see? It's really interesting. So I've got sweater quantities of this actually, which is quite lovely. It's got this kind of muted mauve business, and I love this a lot. What else is down there? Yeah, that's the sweater quantity there, and I've got some pinks as well down in the Falkland, pinks and silver. Oh no, it's come undone. I must find a way how to package these properly. I must put them back so they don't get mixed up. Then down here we've got some BFL, which is moody BFL. This grey is nice. So that's BFL down there. I still am dyeing a few BFL. This is really interesting Norwegian top. It is quite different to the rest of them. It's not as soft. It's got a very significant halo. If you see, woo. I'm actually spinning some of it just to test it, but it's quite earthy colors that I've done, and kind of muted pink there. I love this one. That's the only one I have of that. I want to redo that somehow. Greens and yellows and browns and reds are nice. So yes, so I've got some dyeing out on the line there. Looks like a snake having a bath. And then what's in here at the moment? Ooh, some nice kind of words, orangey browns. Quite like that. So that's what's been going on with me in my life. Quite a lot, as you see. I hope you've had a wonderful 2 weeks, and if you do want to be kept informed, or if you want to donate towards anything that I've mentioned, you can go over to my website, www.babblestravelingyarns.com, and you can sign up for the newsletter, which will be where I put all the information about future retreats, and you can also donate directly there. And there's a donate button which leads directly to my personal PayPal account, which I will pass on every single cent towards the Yes campaign in a legal way. So thank you so much for tuning in to witness the babbles that is in front of you. Let me just double check if I've not forgotten anything 1 second, because we all know this is how Grace rolls. 65. Oh, it's actually 65. Oh, not 60. Oopsie. No, that's it now. Yeah, great. Excellent. Thank you so much, everybody. And yeah, see you later. Love you. Bye.